Removing flyaways often happens to be one of the most time-consuming and frustrating parts of the retouching process, but it doesn't have to be. Today I'm going to share with you one very simple workflow that you can use to easily remove all of the flyaways without having to go ahead and clone out each and every one of them one by one. You don't have to do that. It's easy. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we are in Photoshop, and if you want to go ahead and download this photo and follow along, you know what to do. Check the links in the description. Now take a deep breath. It's going to be easy, and we're going to do this in 3 simple steps. Step number 1 is cloning in. This is the step where we cover all the flyaways. You don't have to be accurate, just cover it. So all you have to do is to create a new layer. Click on the new layer button right over there. A new layer is created. Double click on the text and name it Flyaways. Alright, and then simply take the clone stamp tool right over there. Now make sure the opacity and flow are at 100 and the sample is current and below. Select that. Now just zoom in and make sure it's a soft brush. If it's not already, just click on this drop down over there and make sure the hardness is 0%. Now all we need to do is to just zoom in next to the flyaways, hold the Alt or Option to take a sample from a nearby area and just simply cover it. You don't have to be accurate, just cover it. Pretty quickly. Don't be accurate here. Just cover it all at once and go a little inside. Alright? Don't worry about having an accurate selection over there. Just paint over it. You know why? Because it's on a separate layer. We can erase that later. So hold the Alt or Option, click and just paint. Alright, there we go. As you can see, we have covered all of them and we are done for the tutorial. We have removed the flyaways. Just kidding. This is just step number 1. Step number 2 is creating a rough mask. This is where we create a basic outline of the hair without the flyaways. Again, you don't have to be accurate. All we have to do is to click on the mask button. With the flyaway layer selected, just click on the mask button. A mask is created. Now you know the concept of mask. Black hides and white shows up. So take the brush, make sure the foreground color is black. Press X to toggle between the foreground and the background and just zoom in. With the flow and the opacity both at 100, just paint along the outline of the hair to bring back most of it. Don't have to be accurate, just don't bring back the flyaways. That was pretty easy, right? Time for us to move to step number 3. Step number 3 is refining the mask. This is where we go ahead and finesse the hair, get the details back, remove the flyaways, make it look realistic. And here's how to do it. If you're using a tablet like me, the brush settings are going to be a little different than if you were using a mouse. Don't worry, I'm going to be giving you settings for both of them. So if you're using a tablet, set the flow to somewhere around 75%. Alright? And then go to the brush settings, window, and then brush settings. All you need to do is to turn transfer on right there and set the flow to pen pressure. Alright, you can also set the opacity to pen pressure if you want it to be more sensitive, but I'm going to leave it at that. Or maybe let's make the opacity at pen pressure as well. That way what will happen is when you're just finessing the hair, getting the details back or removing the flyaways, you can use your pressure to make it easier for you. For example, you want to remove this area harder. So with the foreground color set to white, you would just press harder to increase the intensity of the brush. If you want to do it softly, you would just press lighter to decrease the intensity of the brush. But if you're using a mouse, you cannot use pressure sensitivity. So all you need to do if you're using a mouse, just go to Window and then Brush Settings. Transfer is not required. Check it off and then set the flow to somewhere around 35 or 30. So I'm going to set it to 35 and then just you have to paint a couple times to increase the intensity to build up on. Also, you can make sure you can just check this on. This is enable some airbrush style build up effects. Just check this on. This is good. And then again, since I'm using a tablet, I'm going to go to Window and then Brush Settings. Turn the transfer on. Control to pen pressure, opacity, and flow. It's great. and flow to somewhere around 75 because now I have more control over it with the help of the pressure. So I'm going to use that. So all you need to do is to just zoom in with white selected as the foreground color. Just erase the additional flyaway hairs. Now, one of the rules that you have to keep in mind while removing flyaways is this. If the flyaway is in the direction of the flow of the hair, you don't have to remove it. If you want to make the hair look normal, don't remove it. Just like, let's say, have a look at this. You don't have to remove all of them. These are in the direction of the flow. But if something is in opposite direction of the flow, remove it. So for example, have a look at this. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to remove this one, right? You get the idea. In the flow, don't remove it. Opposite to the direction, remove it. If there's anything that stands out and it's distracting, remove it. Just be soft about it. Like there's this little hair right over there. I'm not going to remove it because if I do, it's going to make it look unnatural. So let's not do it. Now, these are in the opposite direction of the flow. So don't remove all of it because it will make it look unnatural. Just remove some of it. Maybe from the top, a little softly. Don't go hard on this one. See, in the direction, don't have to remove it. But if it's distracting, you can. Not going to remove a whole lot over here. Just soften it out. Now here, if you remove all of them, it's going to look crazy. So we're going to have to keep a little bit over here. Maybe we'll soften it out a bit, but we'll keep most of them. All right, there we go. You can spend as much time as you want with this, but I'm going to keep it natural. Have a look at this, how natural this looks. So here is the before and here is the after. That was so easy to remove all of them. Maybe you can bring back a little bit over here. You can change the color to black by pressing X, and then you can just maybe bring back a little bit of it. And then take the ones at the very top. Zoom out. There you go. It looks so much more natural. So here is the before, here is the after. So that's how you do it. Now that I look at it, maybe here is something which we need to soften it out. Don't remove all of it. Just soften it out a little bit. All right, there we go. It's less distracting that way. So that's how to remove flyaways all at once without having to clone out each one of them with the healing brush tool or the spot healing brush tool or whatever you use. Let's do a quick little recap. It's very easy. Step number 1 is cloning in. Clone in the background. Cover all the flyaways. That's it. You don't have to be accurate, just cover it up. And to do that, always do this on a new layer. So create a new layer with the help of the clone stamp tool. Just sample from the background where there are no flyaways and just cover the flyaways. Step number 2 is creating a rough mask. Make a rough basic outline of the hair. Don't have to be accurate again. And step number 3 is when you go ahead and zoom in and finesse and just refine the edge of the hair. And that's pretty much all there is to do. Hope this video helped you, and if it did, make sure to give us a like and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe. Ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss any other future tip, trick or tutorial. I would like to take this moment to thank all these nice and amazing people for supporting this channel on Patreon and helping keep PiXimperfect free for everybody forever. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.